John, regarding this Caboodle Ranch investigation, what's going on right now, this is the culmination of several days of investigation, which has come from a year or two of different complaints. Just a little bit of background: we get complaints all the time on all kinds of different things, including the Caboodle Ranch, and my standard response is, bring me some evidence, we'll present it to the state attorney's office, and if it's something that is prosecutable, then we will proceed with it, unless it's painfully obvious that it's already enough evidence there that we would do the rest ourselves and pursue it ourselves. Well, and this is one of those cases that I've gotten calls from all over the United States about the Caboodle Ranch, some pro and some con, and the ones that were con, that wanted something done out there, I said, we don't have the expertise to investigate this type of operation. We investigate, for the most part, human crimes. We have animal control. They're overwhelmed as well in this situation. But I said, anytime anybody brings us any evidence and they're willing to testify and be affiance on any warrants, then we would present it to the state attorney's office. Well, this happened last year. We did so. The state attorney's office at that time they felt comfortable that it would be better served in a civil court, and that's the way it was deferred. In the meantime, the county did pass an ordinance that would restrict animal operations like this one. In this particular case, Mr. Grant was fixing to be restricted to about 30 cats. This ordinance was to take place January the 1st, which would start a process of inspections, which would require veterinarian care, documentation on each animal, reduction in size depending on how much land you have, those types of things. That was coming into place, but unfortunately, or fortunately, however you want to look at it, in the meantime, a group called PETA decided to do their own undercover investigation. This is going back several months ago. It was presented to us around December. Well, that evidence presented to the state attorney's office again, and they felt like at this time they needed to prosecute it based on that evidence. I can't solicit someone to go in and obtain evidence like that. I had to get a search warrant. They, acting as civilians, did that on their own. That evidence was brought to us. We don't have a choice. We present it. We did, and the state attorney's office decided that they would prosecute it based on that evidence that was obtained. That consists of arrest warrants and a search warrant. That's what's going on now. In any event, the sheriff's office does not have the resources. Madison County does not have the resources to conduct an operation like is going on right now. However, we were familiar with a group, ASPCA. It's the American Society for the Protection or Against Cruelty to Animals. This is a very middle of the road group. We have actually contracted with them for free for them to come in and collect this evidence, but more so to maintain and take care of these animals. They have as many as 7 veterinarian teams from the University of Florida, from all over.
So the county is not paying for this at all? It's just
no cost to the county.
Okay.
They're expecting to spend almost $3 million on this operation, and they have the manpower, 50 to 100 people that are doing this. They have the equipment, they have the pens, they have the ability to maintain. These animals are going to have to be maintained for weeks. They're not going to be euthanized. They're going to be cared for. They also have the ability and expertise to collect any evidence either for or against this situation. This is what they do. They're very generic in all of this and very middle of the road, and that's what's going on right now. However, any operation like this has to be a law enforcement operation. That's called due process. They can't do this. PETA can't do this. And by the way, PETA is not allowed back. Once they were gave us that evidence, they're not out there. I'm not allowing anybody out there but the ASPCA and our guys, and that's the way it is. And once we're done, which will be concluded within a day or so, Everything is accounted for. All of these animals will be accounted for. They're expecting as many as between 500 and 700 animals. These animals are going to be cared for at an undisclosed location. We can't disclose that. We can't have people coming to try to get animals or anything. That'll later be disseminated. It should be done within a day, and then this evidence that's obtained through the search warrant, which was signed by a circuit judge, will then be part of this case. It'll be up to that point a court issue. If the court decides that this is something that needs to be prosecuted, then they will. If it doesn't, then they won't. I have no concern about that part. But I can tell you this situation was going to come to this either through criminal proceeding like we're doing now, or through this county ordinance. The difference is if the county ordinance had been carried out, it would have been at the cost of the county. And I'm afraid there would have been a lot of euthanasia of these cats because of that process. So this was coming. And it's still going to be in effect. The county ordinance will be in effect now for this place or any other place. He's not going to be shut down, but there'll be restrictions by the county ordinance. He will only be able to maintain a small number of cats in that situation out there until he expands property or builds better facilities. So, and that's kind of where we're at with this thing.
Are y'all just like security now while ASPCA is doing their work?
Well,
what do y'all do?
We are security, but however, we have to treat it as a crime scene. It's a law enforcement contained crime scene. Only people that are going to be in there are people that we allowed, and that's it. The ASPCA. There's no one else. They're acting for us, just like the Florida Department of Law Enforcement crime scene team acts for us on other cases. Those are civilian crime scene techs. These are civilian crime scene techs as well, but they also include veterinarians and people with the ability and equipment and the money to collect these animals and maintain them while this whole process is going on. So it's going to come to a good end. These cats are not going to be euthanized. They'll eventually either be returned to owners, I suppose, or either disseminated to other shelters or humane societies or whatever. I don't know what the answer to that is, but they're going to be they're not going to be euthanized. But fortunately, I won't be part of that process. Our part is simply the law enforcement end of it. And I don't know if Mr. Grant will be, how this will turn out for him as far as prosecution or not. That'll be up to the court. But I know that if anybody brings me any evidence, I don't care who you are or what you are, we're going to treat it like anything else. And that's what we're doing here. And this is what this is about. And if someone has a question about that, I'll be glad to talk with them. They can call me, and explain that.
Well, hopefully this will answer all those questions right here. Is the point of it. So I'm
getting
a lot of emails and comments that I can't approve, because people just won't read the rules about commenting. But I think this should help clear things up.
All right. Well,
Thank you.
I appreciate that.